Welcome back, everyone. A bit of a break last week. I was just feeling rather poorly and didn't get a lot of time to prep. But we are back here in a terrible fate you guys have suffered. And yes, as a new session comes in, you can refresh up to your 3 fate points. Which is...
as I am already doing.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a recap so far.
Oh, come on now.
You are 3 of the people who happen to be on board a airship, the first of its kind, named the Icarus, when it set out from London to circumnavigate the globe, was the original plan. However, a couple of days out, there was a strange happening where the ship lost its power and started descending and crashed into the water. And the half-wrecked ship washed up on the shore of a mysterious island. You 3, for various reasons, volunteered to look around while the other survivors organized things and set up to make sure that nobody was going to be without shelter or food or water. And found another ship, the Icarus, the first flying ship of its kind, but a different one, further down the shore. And upon entering, there were some differences in perception of what was actually in the ship, and you attracted the attention of a ghoul who met an untimely end due to gravity, mostly.
We hope. Well, gravity and explosions.
Yes.
A good summary of this game so far can be Cthulhu things happened, and then we blew something the fuck up. Oh wait, no. You wanted a description of this game, not the last game. Cthulhu things happened, and then we blew something the fuck up. There we go.
I've dropped something really heavy on it.
In the explosion.
Yeah, in the explosion that occurred because of the fire that had been started. You guys were out of the ship, but felt the shockwave. That thing's probably dead, right? Anyway, the explosion did cause some concern back at camp, but you went back, told everyone what had happened.
No, I didn't.
Got to organizing the Night's Watch between yourselves and a few others. And I believe we left off
We told
with...
a couple of the crew important other crew members what had happened, and then lied through my teeth to everyone else.
Yes. Yeah,
And...
if I recall correctly, me and the good sir were on watch for the evening when we saw something approaching, if I recall.
Yes, you and
I don't remember his name. I don't have a note sheet.
Doyle!
old man named William Forthright. I copied that and paste for you if anybody wants to know how it's spelled. I did not want to inspect element there, thank you.
I mean, we don't have note pages, so
It's a one-shot.
yeah, there's not really anywhere to write it down. His last name is Forthright. That means he's an evil liar.
That is exactly what Forthright means, yes.
What the...
Right?
Yeah.
But yes,
And I
Dell
know,
and
I know
William...
this because you are the DM.
Not all of my names mean things. Most of them do.
He admits it.
Yeah, he's
But
plotting.
yes,
he's plotting against us.
William was on watch with Dell. Had said that he'd served in the Imperial Navy previously and was a pretty good shot with a rifle. I believe Ashton and Doyle were taking a watch inside at the time.
No. Doyle took a watch outside. Ashton took a watch inside. Our watches ended, and then Dell went on watch with William.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
And William and Dell are watching outside, and we left off with them seeing a figure out on, I believe, the beach coming towards the ship, like 100 or so feet, a couple of 1 to 200 feet out, I believe you had said. And I believe
Yes, it's
Dell had
still a decent mist, but
and
you can see something.
I believe you had described it specifically as a figure was approaching towards the ship.
Yes,
And
but it's still foggy enough out to help not make out details until it's a bit closer.
I believe Dell had called out for them to stop, but I don't remember specifically what he said.
Actually, no, I wasn't given a chance to do anything because we wrapped up at the sighting.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
which is
right.
exactly why I was about to say, Dell, you see this figure, looks humanoid, roughly 5.5 feet tall-ish. It's hard to tell at this distance with a little bit of the mist keeping you from seeing as well. But it is distinctively moving towards the ship. What do you do?
Well, I'm definitely pulling my gun and keeping it steady on it. I have no idea who this is, but then again, considering what I ran into recently, no chances.
A little wary, are we?
Very much so.
Not really enough.
make
You
you
didn't
feel-
pull the
yeah.
trigger.
I'm not pulling the trigger
Rune
yet.
will also train a rifle on the figure, and as it gets a little bit closer, it stops and turns to look at you. You hear a voice call out, "Sorry, didn't know there was anyone here." And it raises his hands.
Keep your hands up. Come in out of the fog so we can see you clearly.
Slowly starts walking forward with his hands up. As he gets a bit closer, you can see an interesting sight for you guys. But for the sake of your benefit, I will describe it to you rather than what your characters would know. What you see coming towards you is a man about 5'5", somewhere in that range, with a tattered backpack, a rifle slung across his back, a tactical vest, a t-shirt and jeans, sneakers, walking in the sand with his hands up. Which would be probably early 20s, late 20s maybe.
Okay.
But I
What's
will
your
point
name?
out that your characters are from an era in which these clothes are not known.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was.
I was gonna say none of that sounds like what we would know about.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. But I wanted you guys, not your characters, to be able to paint a good picture in your mind of this person.
You're looking a little off there. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Tim.
Tim, how'd you come to be here?
I was on a ship that crashed. I think I was the only survivor that I know about. I scavenged some stuff and been trying to find other people, and I heard an explosion this way, so I started looking this direction.
Yeah, Doyle's going to sigh a little bit on that one. Yeah.
You mean Dell?
Yeah, Dell. Sorry.
Stop narrating other characters' actions.
Sorry. Still waking up a bit. Yeah. How long you been here?
I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell without the sun in the sky visible.
That tracks. Doyle's going to lower his gun some, though he's probably sure that Forthright's going to keep his rifle trained on him.
Yeah, he doesn't put his rifle down, but he's not looking down the barrel right this second.
Alright. I'm Dell. This here is Sir Forthright. And, we're about in the same predicament as you. I'm guessing you've been here a lot longer than the rest of me and mine.
How long have you been here?
Best I can guess, maybe a day, probably 2.
I believe we've been here a day.
Why do you think I said maybe 2?
Yeah, at the most, we've been here a day.
Maybe 2 by the time your shift is over.
Yeah, good point.
Exactly. So,
Isn't this
been
the
here
first
about
night?
a day, maybe 2.
Yes, but he's also the last watch. So,
In other words, I'm not giving him a full answer, guys. Come on.
that's also something you could definitely do. Tell them something that's not true. Yes, that is a thing that people can do.
Yeah, no, I think Dan and I were just confused because he didn't say he was going to lie to the person, so he's just like,
Well,
we haven't been there
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We don't really know how long time has passed because, again, no sun.
Well, there was a sun. There's a day-night cycle, which means there's a sun.
There's slightly lighter and slightly less light.
Either way,
The mist is blocking it enough that you can't really. Yeah, but yeah, for the sake of time keeping, you have been here long enough that in a few hours it will have been a roughly 24-hour period or sleep cycle for most people.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of our ship again? I gotta get my sheet up.
The Icarus.
The Icarus, which flew too close to the sun.
Uh-huh.
I did say my names usually mean things, right?
Yeah. This here's we're from the Icarus. What ship were you from?
The Icarus. What? You guys don't even look like you're from.
You don't
Where
exactly.
are you from?
England. Question: what year is it for you?
2004?
What year is it for us?
I had that in my notes. 1894.
Shoot him.
That can't be right. It's 1984.
1894.
1894.
Dyslexic much?
Yes.
It's a very different time difference. I don't know what to tell you. It was 2004 when I left on the ship.
Out of curiosity, was your Icarus an airship too?
I mean, it was like a giant, plane.
What's a plane?
It's a plane.
A flying... Wait, you really think it's 1894?
Yeah, it is 1894. I mean, you don't exactly look like you're from 1894 with what you're wearing.
Oh, I managed to scavenge some of this off some of the people that didn't make it.
I'll be honest. Given the other airship we found, I'm starting to think there's something off with this island. That explosion was caused by me and a couple others while we were trying to explore the island. Ran into something very unnatural. Yeah, what have you ran into out here in this island?
Not much of anything, really. Mostly just shoreline. I've been living off the supplies I got from the plane for a while. honestly kind of relieved to see other people. Even if there's some sort of like weird time difference thing going on.
Yeah, it's the same thing I'm getting. Alright. I don't think it means anything. Means any harm towards us, forthright. At the same time, I'm not exactly the only person in charge here, so I apologize. What was your name one more time?
It was Tim Shaw.
Tim, I can't exactly invite you in, but if you want to stay out here with us, we could talk some more until the shift is till the morning comes, and we could talk more with the rest here in a moment.
I honestly, yeah, that sounds great. I've been, getting a little anxious about finding other people. It's been a while.
Yeah, I get that.
The only other thing I've seen out here is this one like nose of a boat out on the water somewhere. That you think that might be another Icarus? Is there's some sort of something weird is going on?
It was another Icarus that we ran into that blew up. And oddly enough, it was from what year was that Icarus from again? Like 1910 or something?
1920.
That was dated. That one was dated 1920 from what we found in records on board it.
Huh. I came from the direction opposite the explosion, so the one I saw must have been another one that sank. It really is such a good background music for this.
It is it's a little unsettling, honestly.
You're
I
welcome.
believe that's intended. Yes.
Uh-huh.
A good friend of mine pointed me towards the source.
Well,
I mean, yeah, you mind if I set up, I got a tarp to make a little lean-to for when...
sure.
And he sort of reaches over behind him, grabs a rifle off his bag, just lowers it to the ground very obviously.
I'm pretty sure Forthright brought his rifle right back to attention until he put it on the ground, huh?
Yeah. Just very obvious, I'm not going to shoot you, I just need to move this to get to my backpack kind of gesture.
What type of rifle
fine.
do we have? What type of rifle does he have?
Well, I'm figuring he's got an AK.
Like, I'm thinking we probably have, like, what? Single-shot rifles?
Mhm.
Yes. He has a Garand,
Okay.
which
A
you would not
Garand?
be familiar with because the M1 Garand.
From 2004, and he's got a Garand? Or Garen?
Yeah.
Huh.
Who knows why? There could be many reasons. But none of you would know what that rifle looks like because it hasn't been invented yet for you.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a Garand is still a rifle.
Yes, it would still look like a rifle, but you would not be familiar with the model of rifle it was.
The semi-automatic function of it.
Just get an M1 carbine. No, but yeah, he puts it off to the side, pulls some stuff out of his honestly rather stuffed, slightly tattered backpack, sets up like a tarp with some extendable poles.
That's interesting. That's an interesting, and I'll be honest, that's a convenient design there.
Oh, what the tarp?
Yeah.
The lean-to? Or
Yeah, I was the head engineer of this ship, so God, not But how does that thing work? I'm a little interested here.
what the
The
extendable
lean-to.
poles?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure who made them, but he like grabs one and twists at the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and it sort of separates a little bit, and
Ah,
uh, pushes up inside of it.
I
It's got
see.
some sort of mechanism that helps it do that. I don't know how it works though.
If you had another, I'd love to take it apart and take a look, but that's interesting. I'm guessing it's probably some type of, I'm guessing that cap's got like a bit of a screw in it that's threaded specifically on that bottom pole, the larger one, where as you tighten it, it tightens that to the smaller pole for the extension to hold. That's just a
I mean,
guess, though.
that sounds like it could work. I don't know if that's what this does.
Uh, you gotta forgive me. Like I said, I'm an engineer. These seeing something new like this gives a man ideas.
Anybody's interested, there are actual extending pole mechanisms that are currently in use today, largely, in my experience, for painting or yard work equipment.
Yep. I'm pretty sure they're Dell and Forthright will be keeping watch of Tim. I've actually added 2 notes to my character sheet just to keep track of things now.
Guard you, Taylor, for having characters with names.
Damn it.
Um,
Alright.
but yeah, is there anything else you want to particularly ask him about or steer the conversation towards, or just sort of
So you said
small talk?
you're... What kind of airship's a plane? I mean, ours... the Icarus was a design using a air balloon, kind of like an air balloon with a sea ship to lift up
Like a
into the air.
like a Zeppelin or something?
Don't know about a Zeppelin, but that if that's your timeline's reference to it, that might be right.
Okay. A plane is sort of like the main body is tube shaped, and it has wings that are shaped so that when it goes really fast forward, it creates lift and it keeps it in the air.
Hmm.
Do we have any concept of what lift is?
You know that
Obviously.
lift would probably mean lifting things up in the air.
Yeah, I know,
So-
I know. I meant like
For
mechanically.
mechanically? Oh, Dell would.
Might have to see about checking your Icarus out, see if there's anything that can be salvaged from it. See about getting off this island then. Is it like wood? The construction of it, is it like wood, metal, screws, bolts?
Mostly metal.
Hmm. Interesting.
Like, I think there's some plastic and stuff in there too, but yeah, like I said, I was just on the plane. I'm not really knowledgeable about how they work. Sorry. Maybe if we find it again, you can look at the manual that the pilot would have, I think.
Might have to. I think the talk is going to be Dell mostly asking Tim questions about this plane because it's piqued his interest as an engineer.
Yeah,
Okay.
most of the responses, like, probably going to be like, I'm not really sure. Here's a general, like, very overarching concept that the general layman would know about a plane.
Yeah. Which, is a good starting point for any engineer to think and ruminate on.
Mhm.
For instance, the idea of wings on the craft instead of using a balloon, and something that generates thrust like an engine. But no, that would be mostly what would be talked about over the course of the early morning until everybody wakes up, for the most part.
I'm very curious what Dell's take on him saying that there would be plastic used in the construction would be. Synthetic plastic hasn't been invented yet for us.
Yes.
What the heck is that?
It would be like
Plastic?
you're holding it together with like rubber and like what were other like early plastics, like animal horns that were heated.
Yeah, he describes to you that, like, plastics are made from oil somehow, and it turns into solid objects. They're kind of durable.
I just thought of that. I was like, wait a second, plastics were early 1900s.
Yeah, I was waiting for Jacob to ask, actually.
Ask what again?
What
the
fuck
plastics.
plastic was.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that because I don't want to go too much into that kind of talk because I'm not exactly engineering minded.
You might as well, because after this we all die.
You can
Or
trust me, I'm an engineer. For pretend. But yeah, he talks with you a bit. You get a more of a general idea of what a plane is.
Okay. Might have to look into that type of stuff when I get back to England. But for now, I think the more pressing issue I gotta focus on is just getting off the island with the rest of the crew and guests.
Yeah, as you guys continue talking, the mist lights up a bit more. It's a bit brighter. People start waking up, making breakfast. At one point, one of them comes to relieve you of your watch.
Alright.
I think when he wakes up, Ashton's gonna do another round of the inside of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ashton, roll notice for me. Dell, are you mentioning this person to the person that's coming to relieve you of your guard duty?
Yes.
And
Matter
presumably
of
then going to find someone else to tell about it?
4.
Yep. That is the plan.
That's a good result. You do not find any indication of intruders or hobos, which I assume is what you were looking for.
Yeah, looking around the entryways and the interior from the water, making sure there were no signs of entry after the first watch
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, there's no signs of any sort of entry.
Okay.
But yeah. Now, Dell, what you said you were going to try and talk with someone else. Who are you
Mhm.
getting?
Pretty much, I was going to get to, pretty much, because far in my head, there are four pretty much heads that are kind of keeping things together. There's Doyle and Ashton, who are helping in regards to the guests. And
Mhm.
then there is myself and, forgot her name again. Dang it! Lady,
Madam Worley.
Madam Worley, thank you.
And Jonathan Johnson as well.
Yep.
Who is also going to paste the name in here just for everyone's reading spelling pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
John Johnson.
He's going to try and let them know first that somebody has approached the ship. Right now, they are waiting outside the ship. Okay. As he did not allow them to enter until more notification and decision was made, and then fill them in on details that he learned from him, including the possibility of an Icarus from 2008 over
4.
Or
2004 over. I had it down as 8. Sorry, from 2004, which is about more than 100 years ahead of them. Which, considering they've found a Icarus from 1810 or 1910, yeah, we got some time shenanigans going on here.
So it would seem.
It would seem.
Yeah. They both agree to come out and talk with this person. And they do.
Mm-hmm.
Doyle would be patrolling on top of the ship, so I'm guessing at some point, or when he's back up, he'd go around to check on top of the ship and keep an eye out.
Mm-hmm.
And see this person, probably.
And see Dell with this person, or at least the group gathering around this person.
Yeah.
yeah, after kind of doing his interior patrol and getting word from Dell, I think Ashton would head up.
I'm thinking Doyle's probably going to hold back for right now, just to keep an eye from up above.
Okay. Well, in
Yeah.
that case...
Dell, as Dell would describe him, he's interesting looking. Doesn't seem like a bad sort. Didn't, he was peaceful even though he was armed. Set his weapon down when asked. And freely gave information, exchanged information, so I don't see any issues with him. It also seemed like he was the sole survivor from his ship. Okay, but he just did not feel comfortable about bringing this guy on board until pretty much all the heads made a decision about it.
So yeah, you guys...
I would be leery about bringing someone who's been on the island on board, certainly.
Yeah, again, he don't seem like a bad sort, but after what we ran into, I don't want to trust nothing this island shows.
Do we see anything different when we get up there, Taylor?
No, you also see a guy in a t-shirt, jeans, sneakers, ballistic vest, sitting under a tarp held up by 2 poles on one side.
Okay, so it's not like Jacob is seeing like some 5'5" dude and we're seeing like some like 8-foot tall monstrosity.
No.
Oh yeah, you pulled that bullshit on us.
Yeah, you've done that once.
Only once. Oh, but you know what?
Once-
That's
once-
right.
Once this game.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Well, shame on all of you.
Oh, the shame.
Just that one game of push the button once or twice.
I will vote you out first every social deduction game moving forward.
I'm sorry, but that was just worked so well for what I was trying to do at the time. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure I was telling everyone that you were the alien too, and no one listened.
Yeah, there's always that factor in those things, but...
Didn't y'all vote me out after that?
Mm-hmm. You were the sacrificial lamb I chose, Jacob.
Yeah!
Made you look just suspicious enough to make people guess. Anyway.
Jacob does that
I
on his
know.
own. Without any help.
The thing is I just went right into the role as like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyhow, you all come out after conversing amongst each other. Before you go out, Madame Morley does mention, like, we are only taking up a portion of what's left of the ship. There's some spots that are on the sand that are still well covered. We could at least let him stay there to get out of the weather. Or cold. And this is in a group which consists of Dell, Doyle, Ashton, and Jonathan Johnson.
Oh, I thought I was still staying
okay.
up on top.
No, this is
Oh, okay.
this is when you meet up in the ship. I'm going there first.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, I'd be leery about bringing anyone from the island too close to the ship.
If we have more survivors, I'd say it's not harmful to let them take shelter at the very least, though a certain amount of time to make sure that time shenanigans, as Dell puts it, are not happening. Or, I'm sorry, as Ashton puts it, are not happening.
No, that was Dell.
So that was Dell? Okay. So, I mean, I don't see the harm necessarily in letting him take cover underneath the ship, at least, if you will.
I'd recommend we keep him someplace where we can keep a close watch on him at all times. Ways of getting into the ship from the water. If he was someplace out of sight, he'd potentially be able to get on board if he wanted to and had malicious intention. But I'd err on the side of caution at the very least.
That's
Yeah, I
one vote
can agree
no,
with
one
that.
vote yes.
I don't think he's gonna mean nobody no harm. I would like to take a look at his rifle before he gets on board.
What's so special about his rifle again?
Fact
I
that it
don't think
comes
I've ever.
from
I don't
200
think
years.
I've ever. That's one thing. I don't ever think I've ever seen a rifle like it, for one. But for another, I mean, if he's not who he seems to be, would you want him armed?
I mean, that thing didn't need a weapon.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd say if he's coming onto the ship, we should
If we're taking him onto this ship, yes, of course, surrender your
him-
weapon. We
keep him
have
unarmed, yeah.
our guardsmen that we can trust.
Yeah, and if he does earn enough of our trust and volunteers to take a shift of watch, I wouldn't mind him having his gun then. But only after only after he earns a bit of trust with us. You don't strike me as anyone bad, but the silence thrown weirder at the three of us before.
Oh yeah, I threw half a ship onto that thing.
Yes, and then it exploded, which is our modus operandi.
Yep.
I mean, everything worked out that way. That worked out well that way, didn't it?
Yeah, Madame Morley and Johnson would both vote fine for him to use some of the wreckage on the beach to take cover from the cold, but not actually come on the ship.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yes, as long as we can
All
keep
right,
an
then.
eye on him, I'm okay with that.
In that case, I guess I'll go ahead and fill them in. I've been the one who's been talking with them the most. Then I'll get to work on trying to get us something to get off this island put together. Alright, so Dell's gonna go to Tim and fill him in on what the vote was.
Congratulations, we're not going to eat you.
Alright.
So, I mean, it's better than nothing. I'm hoping I could help you guys out, but I understand why you might be anxious. I know I am.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
You said something about getting back to London?
yeah, we may have enough to salvage off of our ship to get something together to sail off the island. Um, Granted, if we're able to salvage enough parts off the steam engine to construct a smaller one that'll help propel us across the sea without too much manpower.
That's over my head, man.
Yeah, sorry.
You know if you have the parts you need?
I might ask, I'm not entirely certain. I only have about 1 or 2 of my original engineering crew. Not a lot of staff on the ship are exactly good or trained to be able to take stuff apart without breaking, but we're going to have to just make do with what we've got. Worst case scenario, I might ask if you might take me over to your plane so I could see what parts are on it and if there's anything I might be able to salvage off of it. We'll be more than, if we are able to get off the island, we might be able to talk over about you coming with us. At least it's going to be several days beforehand. You'll have time enough to earn trust by then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks. If we need to, I can show you. I don't know how long it'll take to get back to it, but there's the plane I landed in, and there's. I've only seen one other ship, and it was most of the way underwater. So probably need some of the emergency gear from the plane anyway, if we wanted to look in there. But hopefully, you just have the parts you need.
Yeah, I'll be able to make that judgment by the time in the day once I'm able to do some diving in the submerged corridors. Just gotta figure out a way to keep like some type of air supply with me.
Yeah, no, there's some emergency air supplies on the plane.
There are?
Yeah, we had these masks that would hook up to little tanks in case they landed in the water.
I might come back to you to ask about that. That's something I might have to consider if we can't confirm all our parts with what we can get to. But that might be something to check out. Do you know about how long they last?
I don't know.
Worth a shot to ask. Appreciate that, Tim. Until then, you can just grab wreckage around. You can build yourself a shelter. Okay. If you need.
There's that patch on the side of the ship now that I'm seeing it closer. That's just sort of an overhang.
You can go ahead.
Looks like a
you can go
floor under a
ahead
room or
with
something that got broken open. Yeah, and he walks over with his stuff and sort of sets up. And this little alcove that was created by a part of the ship's wall opening up and just having most of it jutting up to the sand with a sort of diagonal floor from the area above.
When he's setting up there, when we're up on the ship, looking out like we'd be keeping watch, can we see him?
Not from on top of the ship.
All right.
Don't like that.
You can, however, easily see the area around where he's at. So, if he were to leave that little nook, you would see him quite easily.
I'm pretty certain that we're going to keep somebody in that area for watch to, keep an eye out for him. But Dell's got to hurry up and get on with his main job, figuring a way to get off the island. So he's going to be going back into the ship And mustering up at least something of a small crew that could go as far into what can be accessed, and figuring out what all we've got to be able to put together at least some type of large raft or something with a steam engine on it that will help propel them forward without too much manpower, like I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. What's everyone else doing through the course of the day?
Keeping watch from up top.
Yeah, I think Ashton's
For the
going to be
most part.
keeping watch.
If I see Dell start to leave, I might head down to go find out where he's going. But,
You mean Tim?
well, no, because I know Dell's trying to find parts and whatnot to fix the ship.
Ah, okay. See
Yes, I'm keeping an eye on Tim too, but I'm kind of figuring we've got somebody who's down closer to him on level with him. Or at least that's my
All
thought.
right.
If we don't, then maybe I'll do that instead.
Yeah, there'd probably be somebody set up to just make sure that if he leaves, you guys know about it.
Yep.
Um,
And just
Dell.
constantly looking around, watching for monstrosities that look like some sort of evil boogeyman.
Right. Dell, you're trying to see if you have the parts to finish some sort of alternative engine. Go ahead and give me 2 rolls, one for crafts and one for resources.
repeat that roll one more time here.
Crafts and
And
resources.
Okay. Thank you. So first roll is going to be crafts. That's my better roll. Fair. Okay. And then where's my resources? That you're having me roll from the absolute top and then the absolute bottom because my resources is 0. Oh no.
All right.
Do you have
You
anything you could use to reroll that?
You could
No,
use a
my-
fate point to reroll that if you had some aspect that made sense for it. To be clear, the resources part is about whether there are the parts you need still intact. Crafts part
Yeah.
is being able to repurpose them.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-roll the resources with head engineer because I know that even in a crash state, I'm going to know this airship from top to bottom, where everything is at. I mean, I've even had a hand in its development.
Right.
Okay, so there's that fate point, and
Please roll better.
It would be difficult to roll worse.
God damn it!
Oh my god.
You got an extra plus and an extra minus. Right. So, looking through everything, you have some ideas about how you might want to repurpose the engine. But it seems like, unfortunately, most of the parts that would actually make that work have been
Mhm.
either scrapped when the engine fell out of the sky onto the water, or were pushed away from the main body of the engine by the crash, one of the two. There's enough parts that you could get most of a design for some sort of steam-powered engine for a moderately sized boat. But you're missing a few key pieces that you might have to scavenge from elsewhere.
Yeah, that sucks. I really do not want to go back to that 1910 Icarus.
There's
That
also
big-
the plane
Or whatever
and
is left
the-
of
The
it.
plane and the other ship that was partially submerged?
Yes, and the island, and many unknowns.
Yep. I really don't want to go onto the island. This is going to be harder than I thought. At least most of the wood up at the top side will be able to repurpose to creating the raft so that it floats on the water and the sort. So really it's just the steam engine and the metal parts that we're going to need.
Yep. That does. Yeah, you've got most of the components that you would need to make an engine work, but you're missing, like I said, a few critical pieces that you'll either need to salvage or remake.
So, yeah. How long into the day did this one take?
Just taking stock of everything.
And pulling some of it off. And all
Pulling
that.
some of the things out and getting ideas and looking at them. I'd say probably by the time you come to this conclusion, it's just after lunch or so.
Yeah, probably won't be going out today for that. He'll probably bring up the situation with Madam Worley and Jonathan. Kind of let them both know, and that he might need to make plans on going out to salvage other parts from what they can find, either along the shoreline to see if there's another ship, or to check out Tim's plane. Plus, there's also the point of getting, possibly salvaging those air supplies from the plane to go into the submerged decks to try and pull parts from down there. Because unfortunately, this was where he can reach.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there might be more, but it would be in the waterlogged sections.
Or in one of the ships that are either A, the one that's already mostly underwater, or B, the one you blew up. That one's probably a little less likely to have the parts intact, though.
I'm guessing that's
Oh,
not
no.
going to be the case with that ship, and we can probably just not go back there. That seems terrible.
Yeah, we're not going back to that one. But yeah, he's going to inform, Madam Worley and Jonathan, give them a heads up about it, and then focus the rest of the day between planning out the excursion to Tim's plane and what tools he might need for that, as well as pulling what else he can with the team he's got together.
All right. Yeah, you're able to. Again, you do have like an idea, so you can start working on some of the parts assembly now. Outline what you want. Jonathan help you out with it, but
probably have some of the parts, lined out on like a sheet. Like to start visually, like visualizing where they're supposed to go and everything.
Getting stuff together with the parts you have, really. Ashton and Doyle, what are you doing during the day? Just staying on watch the whole time?
I think Ashton's gonna continue keeping watch. He'll go into the ship a couple times, kind of deal with the passengers, keeping them calm and everything. Though they're, for the most part, they're set up with their necessities, etc. Eat and back out on watch.
Doyle, are you doing anything in particular?
I'll probably check in with Dell at some point in the day. Briefly.
Unfortunately, not really. Can't really think of anything to do on my end. maybe like while Dell's doing his search of the ship before noon, I go in and start doing like a little sermon for anybody who's interested, but then go back out onto patrol on top of the ship to keep an eye out.
All right. You do find a couple people interested. Some of them are scared and desperate. Others are just, religious and taking the opportunity for a sermon there. But yeah, that passes the first day. None of the
Oh, the other thing.
none of.
I was gonna say the other thing Ashton would do is, well, he's on watch. Not just be like watching over the beach, but also over like the water.
Okay.
Seeing if anything catches him as out of place or odd.
I mean, in the context of the situation, not really.
Okay.
The water's calm. There's not really any wind. Just mist.
Like, how calm?
Completely.
No waves?
Nope.
Okay, that I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that strikes me as odd.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you don't see anything like out there in the water. But it does strike you. It does in fact strike you as odd that the sea is now just like flat as glass.
I'm really tempted to pull a Keeljaw. Nah, okay. Alright, that's disconcerting. If I like, try to take like if I'm assuming like there's a part of the upper deck that I can move that would be like over the water.
Yeah.
If I go over there and like look down, like can I see anything like moving under the surface?
Give me a notice check.
I was really tempted to just throw up like a rock.
I mean,
3?
you see some sand and stones, and that's it. The water's remarkably clear.
Does it look deep?
At the point you go out to like the transition of the ship, it's not. If you go further back, it does get a bit deeper,
Okay.
but not excessively so. You can still see the shaded bottom of the water, even at the back of the ship, or the back of
Okay.
what's left of the ship,
Okay.
rather.
So a very, very gradual slope.
Yes.
Alright. Okay.
All right. The people you set up to watch Tim have taken shifts, reported back. He didn't really do anything suspicious. Came out a couple times to like go off into the fog to go to the bathroom, and explain that so that they wouldn't be angry at him leaving because he saw people watching him. But he came back every time. Nothing strange or untoward happened in that respect.
As far as we know.
As you are being told, yes. And that is the second day here.
Alright.
You guys taking specific watches?
I think it's gonna probably stick to the same shift as last time. Dell will probably take the last shift. Mostly because by the time lunch, dinner is eaten and the sort, he's probably gotten everything done in regards to what pre-planning he's got. He's probably gonna pass out early, so he's at least alert for his watch.
I feel like we did a 3 watch cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we should probably split at least one of us onto each watch.
I mean, I would kind of think that Doyle would go for first watch, really.
Alright. Ashton will take middle watch.
All right. I would like all three of you to roll notice rolls for me.
Alrighty.
Finally, a fair roll.
Not great on my end, but, average.
Great.
All right.
One of my few
Um,
high skills.
Throughout the night, you each take different shifts, making sure to help check the inner areas as well as the outer ones. But nothing happens that's noticeable. All is calm outside and inside.
The water's
Each of
calm
you-
all night.
Yes. However, each of you make me a will roll.
Okay.
Will.
Great.
Ugh, average again.
Fair.
All right.
It's a fairly good roll for an average skill.
Mm-hmm.
+0, +++1.
Mm-hmm.
It's borderline as good as I can do on that.
Pretty much, yeah. Mine was crappy.
All right. The rest of the night for each of you passes uneventfully. The mist brightens once again. The other passengers help set up breakfast, relieve Dell of his watch, start getting ready for the day, trying to find things to do to be useful, stay busy.
I take an extra portion of breakfast to Tim before going up to the top of the ship.
All right. He seems very appreciative. Notice it hastily put away some sort of metal can. And thanks you for
Here you
the...
go.
Sounds like rations.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I had my own supplies, but this is honestly better. I didn't want to start a fire to cook or anything in here because I don't want it to catch the ship on fire or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's powdered eggs and a little bit of stale bread, but, the eggs are at least somewhat warm.
Better than a can of beans.
I don't know. I've had a can of beans in my heyday. It's good enough sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good one, though, probably.
Not much of a bean person, are you?
More like not much of an airplane food person.
Ah. Oh, yes, that's right. Airplane. Dell was talking about that. So it's kind of like our airships? Or airships?
Kind of. I mean, it goes through the air. It looks a lot different, but it's still got like people going on them and having meals. You guys is probably a lot bigger. They usually only have meals for like the really long flights.
Really long flights? Oh, how long a flight? Well, I get... Wait, I'm sorry. I need to be reminded here. Where were we going to from England?
New York, I believe?
New York
Yes.
in the U.S.
New York, and then the ship itself was going to continue on for a circumnavigation but probably not with Doyle and Ashton on it unless they really wanted to.
Yeah, there would be the option for most guests to disembark and head back to England by ship from there,
Kind of
and
seems like
while the
that.
ship continues its route after refueling.
So, for context, you guys' ship was outfitted for about a month's travel
Mm-hmm.
with full crew and guests, which is why you have plenty of supplies, because you've only been traveling for a few days, and a lot of people died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like half. Well, we don't know if they all died. We know a bunch of them just went missing.
Yep. They're probably fine.
Yep.
So was it the weather that downed your plane too?
No, it was really weird. It just sort of stopped working.
Sounds somewhat similar to what happened to ours, actually. Does Tim have his rifle with him?
I mean, it's near, like, his pack, but it's not on him.
No, okay. Kind of catches my eye and eye it up a little bit. That's a interesting looking rifle you have there.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called. It's some sort of older rifle, but apparently the flight marshal brought it on board with him. I don't know why. I'm actually probably pretty sure he wasn't supposed to, but don't look a gift horse in the mouth and all that.
Okay, meta talk. Why the hell did a Sky Marshal bring an M1 Grand onto a plane? That is not a small weapon.
Yeah.
Nope.
Grand is kind of big.
Yep.
You wouldn't even be able to hide that.
Nope. It would probably also be pretty terrible for, using on a plane.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
No, you are correct. This is not something that would normally happen.
But knowing my background and the fact that we had a functioning armory on our airship, I'm not really seeing much of an issue with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also don't know what an air marshal is.
Nope.
Do you mind if I take a look at that rifle?
Sure. I tried some other ones at the shooting range, but nothing this old. He shows you the rifle. He's got probably about 20 bullets for it. It would be very interesting to you as a gunslinger to see a gun that had the semi-automatic action instead of being full single load.
No bolt, no lever? Huh.
Yeah, it's not that old.
No hammer either.
That's on the inside, I think.
How do you get the gun to cycle to the next round?
It just does it itself.
Well, that's definitely something new. And I kind of hand it back to him. That's a fascinating piece of equipment there.
You do, I remember, have to pull the little bolt thing, but it just sort of pulls a bullet up from the magazine on its own when you do that. And it's the hammer inside of it. I'm not a gun expert.
Alright, well, I'm afraid I gotta get back to my watch. But you take care of yourself, Tim. If you see anything, be sure to let some of the gods know.
Yeah, sure. If you guys have anything you want me to do, help out, just let me know.
I'm sure at
Thanks
some
again for
point you'll
breakfast.
be interested in checking out this plane of yours. How long
hopefully.
did it take you to get here, if I may ask? You heard the explosion, so couldn't necessarily have been that much farther.
I mean, I was nearby when that happened, but I've been walking for... I'm not sure how long. If it's been a day every time I've felt like I need to go to sleep, then it's probably been about a week or so.
Oh. Well, now, that's a new bit of information that Dell did not share with me.
Oh, I don't think he asked.
Ah. Did you
He
happen...
was more interested in the plane.
Was there any other ships or any kind of craft between here and your plane that might have been a little bit closer?
There was this one that was a bit offshore, and it was like mostly underwater with just a tip poking out.
Oh, okay. I believe Dell mentioned that one. How far out was that?
Probably about 2 or 3 days. Days, with air quotes.
I see.
But if you wanted to really go explore that one for stuff, it might be a good idea to go back to the plane anyway, because we had some breathing masks.
Breathing masks?
Yeah, because like if something happens with the plane and whatever they do that keeps all the air inside doesn't work, then you need more air because it's so high up that there's not enough oxygen.
Oh, I see. And these breathing masks provide you with oxygen in an environment where there is none.
Yeah, they hook up to a little tank.
Well,
It's filled with it.
if possible, I definitely say we should grab those before exploring any kind of wreckages, especially those underwater. But, alright.
I will
Yeah.
refrain from asking him about any of this so we don't cycle through the information a third time.
Yeah, that's fair. You did get some new information, though, just by talking differently to him.
Yes.
That's something to note. He said most of the same things because he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And
He's a liar and a monster because I know Taylor.
Alright, Tim. Well, enjoy your breakfast. I think I gotta go let Dell know of how far out these trips might be.
Okay. Yeah, thank you again for the food.
You're welcome. And God bless. And with that, I start asking around for who's seen Dell last.
Probably going to be Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan. If I see him.
Yes?
Have you seen Mr. Hopkins?
Oh, yeah, he was over in the, rightmost boiler room section.
Thank you.
Was looking at some piping.
Alright, I believe I know the way. Thank you. So I'll make my
course.
way to the rightmost boiler room.
And there is Dell, working
Mr.
on some
Hopkins.
piping. Okay, you
Mr.
guys...
Hopkins? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, you guys go ahead with this. I have to take like a 30-second or so break, and I'll be right back, but I got my headphones on, so...
Alright. It seems Mr. Hopkins is a little distracted.
Jacob, you there?
I'm alive.
There you go. He's here.
All right. So Dell's probably got all his tools on him. He's probably gonna go over to Tim's. I'm gonna call it Tim's hut.
Well, I think Doyle just went to
Mm-hmm.
the rightmost boiler room where you are currently working on piping.
Yep.
Mr.
Hey,
Hopkins.
Doyle.
Oh. Here
What's
you
going
are.
on? What's going on, Reverend?
First of all, we need to stop talking over each other. Secondly, you didn't mention to me that Mr. Tim's Mr. What the heck was his last name again? Shoot. Oh, we don't
He
have-
never gave it.
He never gave us the last name.
He
All
did.
right.
He did. I think it was Shaw or something.
Mr. Shaw's plane was about a week's journey away.
Actually, I was about to ask him about where it was after I got done in here.
Yeah,
Right now,
apparently it's about a week's journey away, which is quite a hike there and back again. Not to mention that even trying to get to the ship that's half submerged is also another 3-day trip just to there. Never mind back again.
it does put a hamper on possible plans of the day. The biggest
A
problem.
meta note. You would know he had mentioned that the submerged ship was between the plane and your ship.
Yeah, Dell does recall that. I knew that submerged ship was about a midway between the two, but I didn't know they were that far apart.
That's going to put a hamper on trying to get the replacement parts. Even if we
Yeah.
get them, lugging whatever you need, which, bear in mind, I don't know exactly what all you need to fix this thing is. I kind of like just rap on a metal pipe right next to me.
Yeah, but we got two different problems. We don't have enough parts from what we can reach without trying to dive under into the submerged decks to see what we can pull down there. And nobody can really hold their breath long enough to try and pull a part like that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was originally just going to see about myself and John, either myself and one other crewmate, maybe either you or Ashton coming with me and Tim to the ship, see if we can at the very least salvage those air supplies you mentioned, but if it's a week out, that might put a damper on things. Dangerous as with what you and I've seen at that other Icarus, I don't want to be caught unawares with another one of those damn things, and well, everybody'd be fucked then.
Facing another ghoul and no steering column to drop on it from 3 stories up.
It worked!
Uh-huh.
It
This
sounds
would've-
to me, though, like no matter what, if we want to try to explore any underwater areas, we're going to need those breathing masks, air masks, oxygen masks, whatever it was, the masks.
I'm taking the just calling them air supplies. Yeah, once I get a better look at what they are, I'll probably figure a better name for them, but no, we're missing too much for this to work. If we don't get this this engine going, we're all going to be stuck on manpower trying to row all the way back to England. I don't think anybody's up for that.
Excuse you, by the way. But, yes, I have to say that trying to get some sort of working steam engine would be better for hauling all of us. The size of vessel we would need in order for us to do it manpower-wise would just be, well, extremely difficult. But let me know when you're about to leave. I'll join you.
I might hold that off another day to make better preparations and to talk to Madam Worley about it first.
Makes sense.
Something that
know.
you may not have personally thought of, that your character may or may not think of, Jacob.
Hmm?
If we have any kind of rope, which we probably would on the ship, and any kind of axe or something to cut with, there is a tree line a little ways in. We could, if we're concerned about lugging stuff, we could fashion a sled to pull over the sand.
That could help. I'm thinking more along the lines of salvaging wood from the ship itself for the raft. But that might be something to consider if we can't pull off as much wood.
I didn't mean for the raft. I meant for, like, just something to lug parts back.
Oh, yeah. Because it's going to take a lot of manpower going back and forth. I get you now. Yeah, especially with metal.
But I'm not there, so I can't suggest it, but your character might think of
No.
it, so...
No, that is definitely something that I will go ahead take the suggestion under wing. That will probably allow for the extra day before we go out.
Yeah, but it's
All
also
right.
not. It's also not something, unfortunately, my character would think of.
True enough. I appreciate that, Silent. Not only that, we're gonna need something to bring back all the parts on anyway, and I don't think a bed sheet will do if we're going to be bringing back a lot. So let me get with Madam Worley, let her know it's going to be a day or two before we get moving. I also want to kind of get with Tim beforehand as well, just to kind of plan the journey as well. And I might have to go out to that wood line, take an axe to a tree. Try and fashion something to bring some of the stuff back with. Alright, so Dell's gonna go and meet up with Madam Worley, fill her in on additional information that they received from Tim and everything, and the additional preparations they're going to need to make. And then he's probably also going to get with Jonathan as well. Pretty much, Jonathan was the other surviving member of the engineering team, right?
Yes.
He's pretty much treating Jonathan as a second in command in regards to those projects, and he's gonna get with Jonathan, plan out the next couple days with him. He himself is gonna be busy prepping up for the trip, like getting a tree chopped down to try and start fashioning together that sled situation that Silence suggested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's gonna take a good day's worth of work just to get that chopped down, fashioned out, all that fun, if not two. Not to mention he needs to go on ahead and also plan out, along with the rest of the crew, what to pull, what needs to get pulled, as far as wood goes, where it needs to get set up and everything, along with Jonathan, so that when he does head out, Jonathan can take the lead and make sure things are going well while he's out.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's easy enough to coordinate that information between everyone. Did you want to go out and chop some trees down for
Yep.
that today? Okay, so you partway through the day, grab an axe, head out into the mist.
I think if Ashton sees Dell heading out, he'll probably coordinate the rest of the people on watch up top and head with him.
At least Dell's gonna at least have one other person come with him with a gun to help keep them covered. Being away from the ship to the tree line, it's better to have coverage than just be a sitting duck with an axe.
Doyle will
But
go ahead
having
and volunteer to join him.
Mm-hmm. And besides, it's gonna, at the very least, letting the watch know, they'll be able to keep an eye out on the tree line and an ear open in case a shot goes off and they need to rush towards it to help.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us are going to the tree line. Yay! This is where we die.
All right. You all head out together, safety numbers, all that. And Ashton, you get to about the point where you remember there being a tree line running along the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no trees here?
What?
Well, this is a problem.
There are no trees at the tree line?
There, you walked out, you didn't
Mhm.
see trees and then they disappeared. You walked out to where about the distance Ashton remembers there being a tree line visible, and it's just not there. There are no trees. It's just more sand.
Well, we could see the tree line from the ship when we first got here, couldn't we?
I don't believe so.
I
Might be
thought we
incorrect, but-
could.
I thought the mist was too thick. You had to be kind of like halfway between.
Yeah,
the
you got
Yeah.
further away from the you got further away from the shore than anyone else, where you guys were walking to the other Icarus.
Hmm. thought we could see it from the ship. I didn't think it was that big of a beach.
It's not that it's that big of a beach, it's that there's the mist, which was thick enough to make it so that it was impossible to see the trees from the shoreline. But yeah, no, you get to about as far out as you remember it being. Granted, this was after you'd already gotten halfway there and like sort of wandered off away from the edge of the beach.
I'm confused now because we'd been following the beach. We hadn't like wandered away from it.
In order to find it, we had to go inland a little bit.
Yeah, you got to the point where you could just see the shore and then the tree line. But I would also say it might be confusing to you now because
It has been like a month since we last did that.
well, not only that, but by all merits, the tree line should be where you're at, and now there's just nothing.
The hell? Doyle, didn't you or Ashton say that y'all saw a tree line out this way?
I did. I confirmed it when I edited the episodes because I have to rewatch all this back.
Oh no! Silent's going to be in purgatory!
Well, regardless of where it was previously, it is now not there.
It's not here. Yeah. Oh, we can certainly try moving down beach a bit.
Yeah. Let's go on ahead, take a little look.
This is certainly concerning. If things are changing here. We make our way
Alright.
down beach.
Yeah, you start down the beach a bit, and it doesn't seem to be, even where you remember there, like finding the tree line when you were looking first, there's no longer tree.
What is there?
More sand and mist.
Well, should we try?
I'm chalking this up to the mist playing tricks on us here.
Should we try spreading out a bit more?
I don't want to get.
As long as one of us can see the shore and comfortably see the next person, we can spread out a bit, cover a good bit more ground inland.
I'm not comfortable with it, but let's go ahead and give it a try. I just don't want to get lost at this place.
So yeah, we'll spread out a bit more so the first person can see the shore, and then inland to see the next person who can look in both directions and see another person, and the last person can look and see the person towards shore.
All right.
And we'll start combing along.
Yeah. As you do this, are you going back to the original ship, or staying where you were, or moving away from the original ship?
I think we're doing it in the direction towards the ship that went boom.
Okay, but what I mean is you spread out and then start continuing in that direction?
Yeah, we're heading away from
Okay.
our Icarus.
All right. You spread out enough that you can see each other, but that does get you a little more ground covered. As you walk along the beach towards where the exploded Icarus was, You see a strange, large shape in the mist. Looks like a tower of some sort, but fallen over. You do not see the Icarus that exploded. You
A
do
tower
see
on
the
the
outline.
shore?
Yeah, you do see the outline of something in the distance. It becomes clear as you get closer to it with the mist. And where the exploded Icarus previously was, there's now the front 15 feet or so of the fuselage of an airplane.
Have we been walking for about an hour or two now?
Have we been walking for like
Yeah.
a week?
No, you have not been walking for a week. You've been walking for like an hour. This is
Great.
approximately the same amount of time it took. Yeah, where you expected the exploded Icarus to be is instead a piece of a strange airplane that you do not know what it is.
And there
God.
was
Damn it! I hate this island.
God damn it, Taylor.
I mean, I appreciate the cut in time, but god damn it!
Alright,
Well,
does anyone know what this is? I don't remember seeing this when we were coming out this way before.
I could be wrong, but this might be that plane Tim was talking about before.
We've only been walking for what, 15, 20 minutes? It wasn't here when we were on our way to the other Icarus before. That was a few hours out down the beach. He said he'd been walking for about a week.
Yeah, I recall that bit as well. I don't know what's going on about it, but that's the best I can think it might be. And I've never seen anything like it. But based on the description he gave me, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah. I mean, if it's here, we might as well take a look. Does it look like it's submerged, or...?
It looks like it's touching into the water a little bit, but for the most part, it's on the beach.
Okay. How does it look condition-wise? Besides crashed.
Besides crashed, not too bad. The outside is scratched, but not mangled too much outside of the point where the rest of the plane was cut off from it.
Okay. Dell doesn't look at it and see, like, a giant, like, hole-filled, like, rust bucket?
No,
Okay.
Dell does not.
Does Doyle?
Also no.
Does Ashton?
I believe we covered this one already.
I have to cover all of my bases.
No, you see the exact thing I described.
Okay. Oh, might as well go take a look at it.
Are you sure? Last time we inspected something like this, well, let's just say we had to blow up a ship.
Would you rather we head back to our Icarus and came back and it wasn't here again?
Chick chick.
Why is it always us?
Why is it whenever there's trouble, it's always you three?
It's almost like we're the characters in a story or something.
Yeah, weird.
Amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are getting closer, intending to search the plane or examine it. Well, it's more of a fuselage than a plane at this point.
All right.
All right. So the only opening you can see is right next to the water. So to get inside, you'll have to sort of skirt around the broken edges of the fuselage. It's not too difficult, though. It's only about ankle-deep water before you just round the corner and you're inside again. And it does seem odd to you to see this, in spite of having heard some of Tim's descriptions of it, where this plane is like a giant metal tube, effectively, to your perception. And inside are rows of seats, and some areas over the seats that look like shelves of some sort, a door on the end that presumably leads to the other part of this.
I thought you said he said people come on and eat meals on here. I don't see any space for a cafeteria or even any kind of bar.
This has been a commentary on the modern air travel system.
Hell, it looks like there's hardly enough room for the people to sit here.
Are you guys going to continue inside to the door? Are you going to search the cupboards above?
Yeah, I was saying that out loud to the other characters, but no one responded.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of just assuming that we're approaching very cautiously. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have to go in there and check it out at some point.
Which you do, and then Ashton mentions the bit about it being way too small for the people riding and how they can't eat as there's no cafeteria attached or
Oh,
anything
shit,
like
I'm
that.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
That was once you guys had stepped in, there were no complications in the process of going into ankle-deep water and then
Okay.
coming around the corner of the fuselage and going back inside of the fuselage.
I'd gotten lost somewhere. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're packed in pretty tightly here, that's for certain. Looks like you almost have to eat your knees just about. Maybe that's what you have to eat.
I can't imagine why anyone would want to travel in something this cramped.
This has been a continued commentary on modern air system.
Ay, ay, ay. Well,
Yep.
Dell is going to search this plane under the eyes, meticulousness of an engineer. With what he's been told by Tim, his main focus is going to be two things. One, the air supplies. From what he
Right.
recalls, Tim told him that they were masks that would come down from above the seats. And then there was the parts that he needs to find, and if he can find the equivalent to these parts on on this plane, or something he can fashion to those parts on it, all the better.
I have. Okay.
You have what?
Well, Dell is doing that. Ashton's gonna turn to Doyle. Hey Doyle, you wanna take a look at those cubbies up top? I'll take a look around.
Sure thing. Start trying to open a couple of them up.
And
It's
go ahead.
it's easy enough to open them up. Some of them are empty. Some of them have bags inside. If you search, you'll find things like clothes and books and some weird devices that don't seem to work.
um,
Little,
little square
presumably,
rectangles.
yeah, presumably some sort of technology that was knocked out by whatever took the plane down.
Another big time question. Any bodies?
I was waiting for my chance to ask and say, well, he's looking up top. Ashton is going kind of down back towards beachside, towards the front, looking around in the rows to see what he can find, see if there are any bodies or anything, because I know they had mentioned that Tim had said that he was the only survivor, which would imply that there were other people.
In this area, you don't find any sign of other people.
Going all the way down to the front, no sign of people.
All the way down to the cockpit door. You see like an occasional spot of blood or something, but no actual bodies.
This looked like they had been bodies and they were moved, or
No, roll me, what skill would this be? Investigate.
okay,
This would be
superb.
something you might be familiar with from your detective exploits. These kind of look like the kind of blood marks that would happen if somebody was, say, dropped and fell at great speed and hit themselves on something and just sort of kept going. So the only thing you can think of is that something might have pulled these people very strongly out of the hole in the machine.
Okay.
I swear to God, if I see a tentacle, I'm running. And I'm not coming back.
All right. Well, these two are doing this, and as he's walking up to the cockpit doors, I assume that's probably where you're going to go next. Dell.
Yeah, next up for Ashton is going to be probably the cockpit and the lavatories that are generally at the front of a plane.
Yeah, lavatories and a little like a flight attendant station, and then the cockpit. But before that, Dell. For you, it's actually rather easy to find, at least in one spot. The mask has already come down. And looking up into it, you can see there's a tube going up into a casing of some sort. You've got the tools that you can pry that casing off, and inside there's like a small gas tank.
Does it seem like there's like a knob to control the airflow, or some type of gauge? Is something to type of gauge to see how much air is in it?
There is a gauge on it. This one looks empty, but now you know exactly where to look for the other ones. It's much easier to find them.
Doesn't look like there's any knob to control the airflow, is there?
There is.
Plane
but
tanks generally don't have knobs. They're automated.
It's like an emergency valve. Yeah, for this particular one, for plot convenience, these ones will have an emergency valve that was shut off. So you're able to look through these, and some of them didn't have the valve go off correctly or were used, but you're able to get about 6 oxygen tanks that are mostly full.
Alright. I'm going to go ahead and focus on the air tanks then. Make sure to dismantle where none of them activate, and make sure that the valves remain closed to save as much air in each of them. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of air in them, but it might just be enough to like get some work done either in the submerged levels of the Icarus, or even if we have to try and find that submerged ship. So that'll be the first thing he's going to try and pull off.
Okay. I will point out, you would know that the slope is gradual enough that the submerged parts of the Icarus, where it's at partially on the beach, are explorable normally. Just have to hold your breath. But yeah, for anything like intensive work down there, that would also be helpful.
Exactly.
But there's not a bunch of like area to explore. It's just enough water to be inconvenient.
Definitely unfortunate. I thought when you were describing it, I thought they had like actual like diving tanks on the plane for some reason. Those tanks are not big.
No,
No, they're not.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, they provide like 10 to 15 minutes of air.
And that's one of the things that he's got to try and figure out with using as little of these as possible. But for now, he's gonna just focus on dismantling and retrieval to get them out.
Yeah, we need to try to figure out some way to hook a sealed mask to them.
Well, most of those masks are sealed masks. Is what they'll do is they'll drop down. They'll have straps to each side to put it around the ears, at the very least, to hold on to the face.
Yeah, that's probably not a close enough seal for underwater.
Yeah, that's not a close enough seal for diving.
Which might be a problem you can solve, Mr. Engineer Man.
Yes.
But yeah, Ashton, as you approach this lavatory area, and you see that there's a door into a small area that, after some thinking, seems like this is a really cramped lavatory. Why would people travel like this?
Yeah, no, this seems like it's not really enough space. It's not going to be comfortable. Why would you ever, especially if like all the people on the plane are using this, why would you ever use this? This has been a continued commentary by Silent Protagonist on air travel.
You also find in the attendant station, like a cart with coffee and some cans of some sort of beverage, a couple of other like various food items, and what looks like some sort of machine for preparing some of the food items.
Okay.
Microwave dinners.
No bodies in the lavatories?
No. Still no bodies.
Alright, well, up to the cockpit then.
Alright. The cockpit door seems slightly stuck, slightly warped. As you manage to pry it open, the first thing that hits you is a smell. That smells like decomposing bodies.
Okay.
And you look in, and you see this cockpit, all these different dials and knobs and what have you, and there's two corpses in the chairs. One slightly more bloody than the other, as it looks like their throat was sliced open by breaking glass from the front window. Looking, there's not like a huge amount of glass broken, but it looks like it was just enough to be very bad for this person. The other one looks like they smacked into the console and slumped over it and just died there.
Okay. If I search around the cockpit and the bodies, is there anything I can find?
You might be able to find a couple of books. What looks like some sort of weapon, gun of some sort. Very fat, wide gun.
Okay. Just
Doesn't
for
look like it's
just for my own purposes, what is it?
flare gun,
Okay.
along with these like very round cartridges that you presume are some sort of ammunition for it. Like a logbook of flight times. Which, as you were sailing across the ocean on a ship that was destined to be out there for a month, it suddenly becomes much clearer to you how people could tolerate this, because the flight times are remarkably short for your consideration. Hours, not weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a continued comment.
We'll agree to disagree on that. Oh, yeah, so okay. Yeah, I'll take the flare gun. I'll grab the logbook. Looking at the logbook, am I able to tell where this plane was coming from or heading to?
It's coming from. You're not sure where Provo is, but that's what it says it's coming from. You do recognize the destination, though, as it's New York.
All right. Yep. No, I think what happened is that New York turned into a giant sandbar, and we're there.
That seems dubious, but sure. It's just some sort of fault line opened up.
Yeah.
Manhattan finally went into the ocean.
All right. So another one heading to New York. That's just on this fucking island.
Well, this plane is called the Icarus, right?
Yes. You would not have seen any emblazoning markings on the outside, but in the logbook it is marked as the Icarus. Is the name of the airplane.
All right. Yeah. No, I'll grab the flare gun, the shells, the logbook, and start making my way back to the rest of the to Doyle and Dell.
All right.
Doyle,
you do find
as
some.
I head down the aisle towards them. You can't exactly tell what happened here, but it looks like the only two bodies left on here are those two up at the front there. Best I can tell, everyone else, it almost looks like they were. If I'm understanding, it looks like they were slammed into the ceiling and then dragged out the hole.
No, it seems like they were slammed into chairs or armrests on the way being dragged out the hole.
Okay. Looks like everyone else was dragged out the hole back there, slamming into.
Yeah, when the plane explosively loses compression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it seems like everyone else
I
was.
figured that's what it was.
Seems like everyone else was slammed around and dragged out the hole there. Yeah, no, I knew that was probably what you were going for. Just also, I know my character wouldn't know it, which bothers me, but it also doesn't jive with Tim's story.
Yeah.
Of the plane
For all
just
you know,
not
either.
working, but we don't know how a plane works.
Yeah.
Dragged out. Dragged out by what?
Hard to tell.
Oh, there is one other thing. With that investigate roll, You would have noticed, actually, Ashton would have noticed. Tim said 2004. This logbook says 1998.
Yeah. This book also doesn't line up with what Tim mentioned for his plane. He was saying it was 2004, and according to this logbook, this is 1998.
Oh, hey, look at that. Another time period.
God damn it!
Possibly, though. I think we should probably ask Tim a few more questions when we get back without necessarily letting him know we have this book or the information. Just make sure everything checks out.
Are we able to grab any of the air thingies that we needed from here, Dell?
Yeah, I was able to get quite a few of them, though. These tanks are pretty small. I don't think
Yeah, you have half
they-
dozen.
Yeah, right. I think they might only have about, best guess, 10 to 15 minutes in them. But I'd have to try one of them out just to be sure. Also, these are definitely emergency use only. There's not exactly a good seal with the mask covering the mouth. They wouldn't really be good for diving. I'd say I'd have to work with the mask a little bit before we really put them to use. Unfortunately, I've only been able to salvage this 6 so far.
Well, let's find 6 people who can go diving that aren't us and melt the masks to their faces.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
That was not in character.
Yes, it was. No. But I thought it was such a good idea.
I didn't say it wasn't a good idea. I didn't say it was a humane idea either.
Just because it's wrong doesn't mean it's dumb, and vice versa.
Yep. What do you think we take what we got and get back to our ship before it fucking disappears somewhere next?
Give me a little more time. I'm still trying to see if I can find anything I can use to replace the parts I need to rebuild the steam engine.
All right, I'll keep an eye out just in case of any trouble.
Appreciate it.
Out of curiosity, does Dell have a radio?
No. Radios were not a thing back in the 1890s.
I don't know when radios were created.
In the 1890s
Yeah,
was the first wireless telegraph.
Telegraph, that's not a radio.
Wireless telegraph was the idea. He ended up perfecting it in like 1895, which would be a little bit later than you guys were at.
Yeah.
And also definitely not going to make it into the general usage by then.
Yeah.
I wouldn't figure that this was general usage. First flying airship, but yeah, no, it looks like first demonstrated in 93 and first patented in England in 96, so we're 2 years too early.
Yep. So, yeah, let me refocus on task on hand real quick. What do I need to roll to see about finding parts? Would it be another like resource repair roll or something like that?
Resources and crafts, yes.
Yeah. Crafts. Oh.
There we go.
Okay. Resources. I know you have a +0. Roll 20. Don't fuck me now.
That's never worked out before.
Yeah. So.
Spending.
Same justifications previously.
Better.
It's not a
Yes.
-2.
Oh boy.
Rooting through this area, it doesn't seem like there's too many like moving parts for this. From what you can gather, the main method of propulsion was not included in this section. But that doesn't mean there's nothing. There's a lot of sheet metal that could be useful for various things if you heat it up, wrap it around stuff, etc. You do also manage to salvage some minor parts and pieces from the cockpit. And the the coffee machine for the coffee actually has a couple of pieces that would be useful to you as well.
Oh, I thought
You
you were
recognize
gonna.
what they are.
I thought you were gonna
So
say we
they're-
could just take the coffee machine.
Yeah, you open it, you see that it's mechanical, and you open it up, and there's a lot of small parts that you recognize as much smaller than normal, like pumps and tubing and that sort of thing. It's a little bit of towards what you need, but it's not enough to completely finish what you need.
But it might give me a start towards it. So yeah, I'm gonna
Yes.
salvage those. All right, yeah. I'm going to bag up what I can. If there's like, question: is there like a backpack or a parachute? Using a little meta knowledge here, but
There
He's
would
gonna
be
look-
like
he's-
a parachute, but you would also know that Doyle, who had been looking through the top shelves, did find some knapsack-style backpacks, and
Yeah.
they had things in them like clothes, books,
There's a
electronics that are
reason-
no
there's
longer
a-
working, etc.
There's a reason I brought up the parachute. Okay, this is more along the lines of building the raft.
Mhm.
But
Sail.
huh?
Sail.
Yes.
But yeah, you would also find a couple of parachutes. One of them seems to have been torn in the crash, but the other two are fine.
All right, I'll grab those two.
Yeah,
My
Although-
apologies. My apologies for the meta knowledge bit, but
by grabbing them, what actually happens is you're like, these backpacks look weird. What's this doing? You pull one of the valves, it goes, and
Wow.
now you have deployed parachute and an undeployed parachute.
you know what? I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna see if I can't pack it back up into the bag. I don't need it bag as I can, so it doesn't tear or anything. But it still might be useful. Okay, so yeah. Let's make our way back to the Icarus. Our Icarus.
Hopefully. So yeah, I guess head out and take what we have and start making our way back down the beach. No need to spread out this time.
Yeah. No, you head back down towards your own Icarus. Able to do so quite readily. And yeah, you don't experience any complications or more interesting things on the way back than what we've already established as being the strangeness of the situation.
I'm still really tempted. As we're walking back along the beach, are there like any like rocks on the beach, or is it all just like fine sand?
Yeah, there's occasional small rocks.
I'm just gonna take a small rock and pop it in my pocket.
All right.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess.
No,
Have either you noticed the water here is really calm? Like there's not even any waves.
Doyle and Dell.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
Repeat the question one more time.
He's not noticing any waves.
Yeah,
Oh,
I asked if either of you had noticed that the water is basically completely flat and calm, and there are no waves at all here.
actually, now you mention it, no, I didn't notice that. It has been calm ever since we had gotten here, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, I was taking a look yesterday on watch as well, and the water's pretty clear, gradual sloping, and you can see down to the bottom, but there's no waves, there's no movement at all on it.
Is there any wind?
That's a good question.
No, there is not, and there has not been, to your knowledge, since you got here.
Okay.
Huh. You know, that is odd, actually. I hadn't noticed that myself, but now that you mention it, there isn't even a breath of wind. Would explain why this mist sticks around for so long.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like it one bit.
If you ask me, don't break the water's tension.
Let's hurry up.
I'll
Hurry up and get back to the Icarus. This doesn't sit well with me.
Ashton is just gonna keep the rock in his pocket.
Alrighty.
Need to give Taylor some excuse to use that Hydra he's prepared for us.
There is no Hydra in this game.
I do not believe you.
Unfortunately.
Bullshit.
Bullshit! Bullshit! Your love of Hydras would...
Never allow that to happen.
I've
Exactly.
made something much worse.
A Cthulhu Hydra.
No.
Look, the one thing I know for sure, it's going to have multiple heads.
Anyhow, you make it back to the ship.
As we
Ship's all good.
as we're coming back.
Yeah,
to
the ship is...
Advanced 100 years.
Yeah, is Tim still outside?
Yeah, no. Everything's basically how you left it. Maybe an hour or so has passed.
As we're walking up, I'm gonna say to Doyle and Dell, I think we should go have a quick chat with Tim.
Actually, I was about to ask if either of you would do that while I get to work on these air masks and get with Madam Worley here. Let her know about what we found out.
You know, I think Doyle and I can go do that.
No worries.
Alrighty. Alright. Appreciate you both coming out there with me, regardless of us finding not what we were expecting.
Yep. Well, thankfully we didn't find an undead ghoul this time.
Yeah, there were no large unruly hobos on the plane.
Unruly hobos. Alrighty. All right, so yeah, Dell's gonna make his way into the ship with the bags of air supplies and parachutes and other parts to get with Madame Worley and Jonathan, while Doyle and Ashton get with Tim. Who wants to go first?
Ah, I guess we'll go first here. Make a way over to Tim as we're coming back.
All right.
Yeah. Tim,
Hello there, Mr. Tim.
I
Oh,
think we
Uh,
came across that plane of yours.
really?
I
Barely been gone an hour.
Yeah, no, I think so. About 15 minutes or so down the beach. I wasn't there last time we went that way, but so yeah, no, it was strange.
That is super weird, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's certainly not like
I was just gonna look at him like this, just disbelief. Okay, look, I know what you're going for here, but that's just too stupid for me to not speak up about.
no, I mean
What?
it's certainly odd. The whole island is weird. The tree line disappeared, and I mean we found a whole new crash on the way to another crash we'd been to. This island, it's playing tricks on us. I want you. Where was your plane heading to?
I mean, we went out of San Fran. I was flying to New York.
Seems to be the common denominator here is,
I thought it was the fact that all these vehicles were called Icarus.
well, they're all the Icarus, but they've all also been heading to New York. The one we found is from 1998, and was also flying to New York out of someplace else. All seem to end up here.
That's weird. Did you find any survivors in that plane? I mean, that definitely doesn't sound like mine, but if you guys found another airship thing, maybe there's more planes too?
Well, it's certainly possible. We didn't see any other people. Well, we saw two people up at the front of the plane, but they were both deceased. It looked like all the other people had been forcibly dragged out in some way.
I mean, I've heard stuff like that can happen if you get a big hole in the plane.
There was a
Sort
big
of.
hole in the side of the plane, yeah.
And, oh, man. That's messed up. What could do that? Ours just stopped working. The main problem was that it came down and most everyone died from the impact.
I mean,
I'm not even sure how I survived. I got knocked out. Everyone just sort of laying there.
Does it look like he's telling the truth?
Give me an empathy check.
I'm trying to gauge if he's telling the truth, if he's trying to bullshit us here. Fair.
From what you can tell, he's telling the truth.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean that's what it looks like happened to the two bodies we found. It looks like one of them had their throat slit open on broken glass, and the other one had slammed into some type of panel of buttons and knobs and levers and stuff in front of them. Probably died from the impact, but on the plus side, we were able to find at least a few supplies out there, and we managed to locate some of those air tanks you had mentioned.
Yeah, most planes have them on board. Man, what is going on with this? I don't understand how all this could be happening.
There's something weird with. Now, out of curiosity, Taylor, was the tower we saw the plane?
Yeah, I was trying to describe a cylindrical object fallen over.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's weird, especially because that thing wasn't there when we had gone down last time, and I mean, with it being so close, you said these things fly in the sky, yeah?
Yeah?
I can't imagine we wouldn't have heard something if it came crashing down out of the sky. The big fucking hole in it.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense either. I mean, I did hear that explosion.
Yeah, that was us. On a different ship. I do not elaborate further to him on that.
Yeah, I think you would have heard that. Unless, if this is where you found that other ship, maybe there's some, whatever is going on is moving stuff around on us.
Oh, I mean, we found this probably 15-20 minutes walk. The other one we found was a couple hours out.
Huh.
Beach had been clear when we went out and clear when we came back that day, and that was just a couple days ago. The same day you found us.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's good that you were able to find some stuff that was usable in it, but I mean, if stuff's moving around, my plane might not even be there. Well, at the same distance anymore.
I think the only way we'd be able to tell is if we make our way out in that direction and take a look. We found a little bit that we could salvage. I don't know if Dell's gonna be able to get it into a working engine though. We got some other stuff like these big canvas tarps and bags that we might be able to use for a sail, but I mean there's no wind here. Hell, it doesn't even look like there are tides here where the water is flat as glass and lack of waves. Who knows if those will help us or not.
If he managed to get the steam engine working, then that'll take care of that problem.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether or not he has enough stuff to get us out of here. We'll have to, guess we'll just have to wait for, Dell to take a look at what we managed to get and see if that fixes the issue or not. The worst case scenario, we have the air now. We can try to wait for him to fashion some kind of mask for diving underwater and try to get to at least that submerged ship that Tim, you passed on the way here.
If there isn't a new ship in between here and there.
Well, that's always a possibility.
If there's a new ship, we can check that one. But yeah, like if stuff's moving around, then I don't know how much good it'll do, but we can try it.
Well, worst case scenario, if we can't find any other vessels to salvage from, I know Dell was saying that there were other places on our ship that we could try to get materials to get out of here. But we'd still have to do some diving in our ship.
Awkward
Yeah.
pause.
No, thanks for letting me know about this. If you guys want some help looking through stuff in the submerged part of the ship, pretty good swimmer.
Yeah, we'll let you know if it comes to that.
Yeah, and if you guys want, I can try and show you at least where the ship I found was.
Yeah, would appreciate that. I think that'll probably be a trip for another day. After Dell's had a chance to try to work with what we've gotten so far.
Yeah, for sure.
At the very least, right now, those masks aren't gonna do us a whole hell of a lot of good trying to dive in them. Unless we want to aerate the water.
Yeah. No, whatever you can come up with, I guess.
We'll keep you up to date, though.
Yeah, no. Let me know if I can help out with anything.
Anything that Doyle wanted to say?
Really, he's gonna hold off, and as we're walking away, though, hey, Ashton, I do my best here to let you kind of do your thing, but why did you have to lie about where we found the plane?
I didn't lie where we found the plane.
No, we found the plane at the same spot the other ship was at.
That was a detail that did not need to be brought up.
No, I'm pretty sure we found it. Taylor said we found it like 15, 20 minutes down the beach.
When
I think there might have been a miscommunication. Yeah, it was intending it to be where you had previously found the wreck that blew up.
Okay.
I legitimately thought it was like
Okay.
just in a different place, like it had just shown
Yeah.
up in between the two.
No,
Okay,
it's
okay.
that's just a miscommunication. So yeah, retroactively, you were trying to tell the truth, so you told him the correct information.
So it was a couple hours out.
About an hour or so, yeah.
So
But-
when we found the first ship, we were out like for a couple hours walking down the beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I thought this was
Okay.
like.
I was so lost throughout the entire thing because I couldn't figure out why you were saying only 20 minutes. Like, what a weird detail to lie about.
Isn't that what Taylor said?
I don't believe so, but That
When I
may have
asked him, he
been
said it
miscommunicated.
was.
Yeah.
When I asked him, he did say it was where the last ship was at, so that we had been walking a decent amount of time and stumbled across this tower.
I could have sworn he said we'd been walking for like 10 to 15 minutes. And then, yeah, I had heard him say, like, oh, so you found the other one. I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Okay, that explains everything, and it also explains why I was so confused while you were having this little conversation with poor Tim.
Yeah, no.
I was so
Big-
bewildered. It was like, I got
Apologies
nothing.
if I miscommunicated that between you guys. Yeah.
Retroactively, everything makes sense.
Yes, everything is fine now. Just sweep it under the rug.
So was there anything that Doyle wanted to say?
Not that I can think of at the moment. Unfortunately, my confusion has just like swept away any thoughts or questions I might have had.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was totally bewildered that whole time. It's like, I don't get it. You're telling him everything else. Why are you saying? All right.
It's the
So-
most important detail. You just didn't know it yet.
I was like, okay.
The entire plot has been unraveled by your noticing of this miscommunication. We're done now.
I thought his thing is to deny what is actually in front of him, and to try to somehow explain it in a different unnatural means or whatever the fuck it is again. But I couldn't figure out why you needed to lie about the time it took us to get there. Okay.
Because logistics win wars, boy.
I mean, yes, but he's going to walk 15, 20 minutes and turn right around and be like, I don't get it.
We're at war with Tim.
He's
It's
just
all
gonna come
about-
back all the sooner.
It's all about the misdirection.
Oh, all right.
Oh boy.
So, okay. Anyways, what the heck are we doing about getting this ship up and running? I'm getting a little lost with like what all we need to do. Honestly,
Dell, what are you currently doing to do the thing that Dell does?
Well, first he's going to get over to Jonathan and Madam Worley and inform them of the little misadventure they had just had. Apparently, there is... Actually, I'm just going to go... So, apparently the mist is playing tricks with us. There is no tree line out there. It's just nothing but almost endless sand. However, apparently something changed down the shoreline back towards the other Icarus we found. There was now this metal craft. Tim gave me a description of what his was as a plane, and well, we went ahead and salvaged what we could out of it. Found some stuff we might be able to use towards building that smaller steam engine. Still got to find some more, fashion some more to make it really work. But we also found these, and he's going to show the parachutes. Kind of partially pull out the one that already deployed to show it, and then he's also going to show the air supplies that he had pulled. Got to figure a way to more securely fix the masks, but we might be able to salvage more parts in the submerged areas of the ship to try and add more to the engine, make sure it works right.
Yeah, all right. Forgive me for a moment. My brain just... Are you talking to Madam Worley or Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. I think I heard both, but I'm like, I was confused for a minute there. Certainly, if you need to time to put things together, we'll keep an eye out. Um, let us know. Jonathan sort of looks over at you. So, uh, which parts are we still needing for this? And you see, he's got the start of getting things lined up for making the new engine from the old one.
Alright, we're still probably going to need most of what we need here. And he'll pull out what he salvaged off the plane. Most of these parts came from what I can only guess is a coffee type of machine, like a beverage machine. That thing almost put me at a stump, and I'm a decent engineer myself. The problem is these parts are a little small. If we were to use these, we would need more of them just to be efficient or to try and figure out how to make them bigger.
I just want to say that I have find it comical, your statement of, we need more of what we need.
Yes. More. 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 The weird part was the airplane that we had found. Tim said that he was from 2004. This plane was noted to be in 1990s.
So,
Doyle and Ashton are talking to him now about that. But I'll be honest, this island's just getting weirder and weirder. I don't really like it.
can't say that I like it much either, boss. You know. Not too much we can do. Do you think that I could work on those, and you could try and figure out? You said something about air tanks, and
yeah, and he'll show the air supplies. I figure these tanks have about like 10 to 15 minutes worth of air. That's enough time to dismantle something off from the decks below water. But the problem is the mask. Even though it's got these two straps to hook into the ears, it's not a tight enough seal for air not to escape. We're going to be losing more air than we breathe.
yeah, that's. I think we might have. And he pauses and. I think we might still have some of the emergency dive equipment. It's not as advanced as that, but maybe we could integrate them together. We've got sort of a
I see what you're getting at. If we can even at least just fashion something around the masks that's going to hold it tightly to the face, so that we can still kind of keep working freely without any heavy equipment, we might be able to salvage a lot more parts and eliminate some of what we're missing from the decks below water. Let's get to that. Let's both get onto that. Let's see what we can pull off here.
yeah. So there were some emergency submerging suits. Suits are effectively a hose back to the ship and a canvas suit. Very low tech, but enough that you guys can, without too much issue, fashion some of this oilcloth into a face mask, where instead of making the mask flush to the face, you just make a face-shaped piece of cloth and sew the mask into it. And it sort of wraps around the back of the head. It takes you a bit, but you're able to fashion 4 or so of these masks and work out that the other 2 tanks you can just change the tubing out and it'll be fine. As for using these smaller parts for creating some of the required equipment. Go ahead and roll me crafts again. All right. A little ingenuity, you're able to sort of take some of the smaller pumps and tubing and run them sort of parallel to each other to draw from one source and then go out to one source. Takes a little bit of finagling and starting up a fire for some heat and melting some of this tubing. You mess around with it, it's this weird plastic material, but it melts and then reforms. So you're able to use that to put these together. And you've got for your own design, there were two major components you were missing. The first was a method of pumping liquid into the engine from a reservoir, and that's been taken care of. The other part you're missing, though, would be some sort of mechanism to make sure that the steam was dispensed, but couldn't at a particular rate, but couldn't build up too much. Sort of a release valve. Otherwise, there's the chance that your engine will either just not work or explode. Both of which would not be great.
No. Explosions are fine.
All right. Well, but we do have a working mask now that will work with this.
Imagine it's like a very tight face mask that just sits below the eyes and over the ears.
How many do we have? Just one?
6.
Oh, we actually have 6 of them.
6 air. Yeah, we have 6 air supplies.
Okay.
And you had enough canvas cloth to make, 6 masks.
Yep. So, yeah. All right. Jonathan, let's make plans on pulling more parts with these tomorrow. See what more we can pull off the ship from below decks. And hopefully we won't need to go wandering out for any more parts.
It's, the hope. I don't know that we've got any... I mean, boss, all of the emergency valves were effectively trashed when we landed. There might be another one further down, but I don't recall any of the machines in that part of the deck using one of them. It was all after it had already passed through that main engine. We can certainly take a look. I'm wondering whether this other ship this guy mentioned might have something like that. Even if it was waterlogged, we'd be able to use it if we can get it out.
Yeah. What was that last part? I'm sorry, it kind of cut out there.
Oh, he was saying if this ship this other guy mentioned finding was sunk without much cause like ours, then maybe when they fell, some of the valves survived. We might be able to find one on there.
Yeah, the big problem is that one's about 3 days out. I don't want to try and mount any expeditions until we know for certain that we can... we absolutely know we need to go out and get some. I would probably say as we set aside 3 of these tanks, then just in case we use 3 tanks to try and get critical equipment we can get to, and we go from there. Sound like a good plan to you?
Yeah, I think we can probably if it's shallow enough, we can look around and see if anything survived. We might need some of these to remove it, but
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well. Alright, sounds like we got ourselves a plan of attack for tomorrow and a plan of attack for if we need more, so. Let's get to work.
of course. And you guys get to work.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm starting to fade fast here. I'm gonna go get myself something to drink. I will be right back, okay?
All right. Sounds like a good time to take a break in general.
It
We'll
is
take an intermission.
10:30.
Yeah, it is 10:30.
Is that when you need to be off, Dan, or?
Don't necessarily need to be off, but I mean, if we're taking a break at this point, how late do you guys plan on going till?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. This might be a good spot
That's my. It's more of a question.
This
Yeah.
might be a good spot to wrap it up. There is a whole other exploration might or might not happen. Probably happen.
Yeah, we're like right on the cusp of like going into kind of like something else, so.
I'm guessing that a very simple thing of, oh, nope, turns out you guys need to go to that other ship and find the pressure release valve is what's going to happen. If that's all, then yeah, we can, I mean, we can all just use a quick, 5-minute break and then come and finish that off in the next 15 minutes. But that does seem like a bit...
Something tells me that the expedition to the other ship is not going to be wrapped up.
No, I'm talking about, like the ending of tonight, if we were to just take a break and come back, would literally be, we come back, oh, you guys do need to go get the pressure valve from the other ship.
Well, I think
is what
we already
kind of
know we
sounded
need
like.
to.
In a meta sense, I figured you guys would be pretty aware of that, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we're going to have to do that. That was pretty telegraphed from the, we don't have one! Go check the other ship!
Yeah. There was definitely the GM saying that.
Yes.
Yes.
Without saying those exact words.
He kinda did. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
He was pretty
Kinda
much
did,
yeah.
via the character.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Alright, so... Sounds like break time for tonight.
Yeah, no, I
Alrighty.
think that's where we break for campaign tonight.